Okay, so now it's time to do the super fun part of working with the coding assistant to build our website. You can access Claude Code once again by hitting this button. Typically, it will have the orange button in the corner, but if you're restarting and you don't have any sessions, you'll have to access it from this white button on the left-hand side. So what I will say is I want to make a static site that I can deploy to a website on the internet. Surprise me. So the reason why I'm going with the static site is just that for the very first pass, I want to explore running on localhost and then deploying that after you've run it on localhost. And the benefit of a static site is that there's just no dynamic content, and so there's not much to it. It's kind of like the simplest version of a site. So we'll go through that process. Then once we get the deployment done, we're going to update it to something cool and fun. I'm probably going to make a video game. So boom, I ask it to do that. It's going to check and see if there's nothing in my project directory. So that actually took a little bit of time, so I went ahead and skipped past, but I now get this pop-up that is asking me to allow a write to index.html. I'm going to hit yes. I know you can turn off the mode where you ask before edits, but I personally kind of like seeing the different steps that it's taking. And boom. There we have my static project available for new projects, building things on the internet, designer, developer, creator, I craft, digital experience that live at the intersection of beauty and function. So it looks like Claude did is it made me a portfolio project, or a portfolio website, which is pretty awesome. And I love the galaxy theme. It looks like there's things that you can click into. So view my work. Let's see, view project. Oh, I see. It's basically hyperlinking back to the top because I just asked it to be very basic and do a static site. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and deploy this. So this is actually not deployed yet. You might think it is because I'm viewing it in my web browser, but the only reason why we're able to see it in my web browser is because my web browser has an awareness of my local file system, right? And you can see here that it's prefixed with file dot slash 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 slash. It's actually pointing to a literal location on my local machine. So as you can see in Vibe Coded App, there's this index.html and boom, it's up here, like so. But what I want to do is deploy it so that everyone in the world can see it. One thing that I want to call out though is that this local file system and being able to see what it would look like in a web browser is what we in the industry refer to as local hosting. Typically, you actually stand up something called a local host. In this case, because it's a static file, we're able to just showcase it directly without setting up a local host. But when we transition this project into an interactive video game, we'll go through that process. But I just want to tease that. So yeah, let's go ahead and go through the deployment process. You might notice here that it is suggesting that I deploy via Netlify, via Vercel, or via GitHub Pages. I am a huge fan of Vercel. I think it's an amazing tool. Netlify, I haven't had the opportunity to really work with it that much, but it sounds like pretty cool. Just the fact that I could drag and drop it directly online. It's pretty sweet. Put your project online, sign up to keep dropping, add a custom domain. Yeah, I mean, this is awesome for a static site. The reason why I think it'd be good for us to actually go through the GitHub path is because it will kind of showcase the full flow of working with command line, which I think is pretty helpful just for bigger projects that go beyond the scope of the simple static site. But when we move into the more dynamic video game, you can host that on GitHub Pages, I'm pretty sure, but we might actually explore Vercel. And I definitely plan to continue to make courses and follow-up videos like this. So if there is a lot of interest in me stepping through Vercel or even stepping through Netlify, I'm really happy to do that. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the files that are in our repo now. So you can see we have index.html. This is the HTML file that has all of the code for our website. And it's pretty crazy. It's just all in this file. So you'll notice a collection of projects ranging from design experiments to full stack applications. If you go to the website, we could search for that, and boom, it's right here. So what HTML does is it allows you to write things and it will show up in website formats. So let's say I want to change this to collection of super cool and awesome projects. If I save that and then I reload my file, okay, we don't see it loading anymore because that exact line isn't there, but look, a collection of super cool and awesome projects that are ranging from design experiences to full stack applications. And you could do that for pretty much anything. Yo, I don't know why that was where my brain went to, but it's what it went to today. And yeah, so that is how you could tweak and go back and forth. I'm gonna go ahead and undo some of those changes, but let's commit this to GitHub. I'm going to actually only commit the index.html file. I don't need the netlify because I'm using GitHub Pages to do my deployment. And I'm gonna say adding the HTML that has my mock portfolio. I'm going to actually push origin main again, and we will see it on GitHub. Pretty cool. And now let's go ahead and use GitHub Pages to do our deployment.